All right, hello, good morning, good evening, and good night. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic as always, because in today's video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about 23 high yielding dividend stocks. And the reason that I'm doing this is because in my personal watch list, this is not my portfolio, just to keep in mind. I do not own all of these stocks. I do own some of them, but this is not my money here. This is just kind of play money. I bought $1,000 in virtual money of each of these companies. And what I want to do is I want to take you through exactly all these high yielding stocks. Obviously you can see these dividend yields at 56%, 50%, 54%, and they go down to 4%. But as I want to show you, even this 4% dividend yield by PBR-A is actually not true, because PBR-A has a dividend yield of 42%. So these are all going to be high yielding dividend stocks that I'm going to show and share with you today in this video. Just a little brief overview of each. And the reason why I'm doing this is because in my actual portfolio, I don't have it up, but I do want to be buying a new dividend stock, whether it be SVOL or maybe APPLY. I like to expand outside of the Yieldmax funds, maybe PBR-A. So what I want to do is kind of take you through these dividend stocks, and I want you guys to maybe decide which one would be right for my portfolio. So without further ado, I want to say we're up to 2,674 subscribers. Every day we grow in subscribers, guys. We're doing fantastic. The last video, 3 out of 10, which is great. 2.6K views. I can't ask for anything more. That's awesome, guys. Awesome. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you guys these 23 different dividend stocks. And you know what we're going to do to make it very interesting? We're going to go from the lowest yield to the highest yield. And the reason that I want to do this is, you know, keep a little suspense, but at the same time show you that there are some amazing stocks. So once again, I do not own any of these stocks. I don't condone that you should own any of these stocks, but what I'm saying is I'm going to show them and bring them to your attention. So first we're talking about PBR-A, which is Petroleo Brasilio, something like that. But you know what? It's better known as Petrobras. PBR-A, it is a gas company, and I'm not going to go into detail about each company, but if I do know anything, I will kind of speak on them. Petrobras is roughly a $100 billion company. They're paying a 42% dividend, and the reason why their dividend yield on the dividend tracker is so low is just due to their recent dividends. They definitely cut them down a lot, but going to their historical data, you'll see that they actually do pay quite a bit in dividends over time. And if you were to have invested in them a long time ago, then you would see that your dividends would pretty much be recouped from if you were to invest in them 10 years ago or so. So you could see like their last dividend 5 cents, and 1 cent wasn't that great. But oh, this says like 2019 on here. What is this? They've definitely paid more recent dividends than this. But as you can see, judging off of what Yahoo Finance has here, you could see in the past they were paying dividends of 20 cents, 76 cents, 83 cents, you know. But recently it looks like they only have the 2019 data. And the thing is, this is not a monthly paying dividend stock. This is actually a quarterly paying dividend stock. But this is one of the only quarterly paying dividend stocks on this list, because we do have a lot, and I do mean a lot, of monthly paying dividend stocks. So next one is going to be JEPI. This is the JP Morgan Equity Premium Income ETF. And this stock has a dividend yield right now of about 7%. And the reason why it's so low is just due to the fact that it is a covered call ETF, but it hasn't been performing that well. And I know the premiums have gone down from their previous markers in the past, you know, like 2 years or 3 years or so. And their price appreciation hasn't necessarily been there like it was back in 2020 to 2021. It has kind of just stayed flat, and you know, you've been receiving this 7% dividend, but that is about it for that. Now going into the next company, or stock I should say, or ETF potentially. You know what? Why am I doing this? We're going crazy. We're just going to go in order from here. So we got APPLY. APPLY is the Apple Synthetic Covered Call Strategy ETF from Yieldmax, and it actually did take a pretty good hit over the last little while, going down from about $22 to $18. It's been paying some pretty good dividends. The dividend yield here posted is about 14%. That's just going off their very last dividend, but APPLY generally has a dividend yield about 30% or so, just to keep in mind. So now going to the next one, we have CLM. And CLM, I actually did pull up a little thing on them. They are an $8 stock. Have what is very interesting, they have a premium discount to NAV, meaning if you were to reinvest your dividends, they get reinvested at the $6.70 level. I'm not sure how this is achieved. It is a 20% return immediately on your dividends, but I'm not sure if you have to hold a certain amount of CLM in order to get that. I don't personally own any CLM. If I could do that right away, I would, but I don't know how to do that just yet, so I'm not personally owning them. So what I do want to say here is CLM, the fund's objective is to seek long-term capital appreciation through investment in equity securities of US and non-US companies. So they do look to have some kind of capital appreciation, but for the most part, they have been trending downwards, and they do also pay close to a 20% dividend, so that could be why. So now going into our next stock, what do we have here? As I'm waiting for this to load, I hope you guys do enjoy this video and you guys do subscribe. We have Coney. So Coney is the Yieldmax ETF for Coinbase. And this is a fairly recent fund. I'm not even sure if they paid a dividend. They might have just announced a dividend for Coney. But let's see if this will load here. This is definitely taking a sweet time. So it's close to its IPO, basically. All the Yieldmax stocks pretty much IPO at $20 per share. And this one has a dividend not posted. So I'm not even sure what the dividend yield on Coney actually is, but it's probably close to about a 20 to 30% marker. So once again, another high yielding dividend stock. And what I do want to say here quickly is I can just go over OARC, and if there's any more TSLYs in here as well. These are the Yieldmax funds. They do pay pretty good dividends. TSLY's at a 50% dividend, and then OARC is probably at about a 30% dividend or so. Now going to the next one, we got EDF. What is EDF? I don't even know what EDF is. EDF is a stock. These are all stocks that I had listed in my watch list, and I just kind of transferred over to the dividend tracker because I wanted to show you guys what it was. So it says Stone Harbor Emerging Markets Income Fund. Now, once again, I don't know much about these funds. All I do know is they're high paying dividend funds. And let's see how the price appreciation for this over time is. Now, it doesn't look like it's very good, obviously, but if you were to buy in certain markers, let's say in 2020, and I got multiple alarms going off here, but in 2020, if you were to buy at, let's say, this $4.38 price point, you'd be roughly about break even or so, plus receiving this 16% dividend over this 3-year period. So that's not too bad. But once again, I'm not saying necessarily you guys should invest in these stocks. Okay, we have GOF. GOF is the Guggenheim Strategic Opportunities Closed End Fund. And I think I actually did make a video on GOF in the past, and they do pay a pretty good dividend. Let's see what this yields at right now. Okay, about 14-15% currently. Their max history shows that, you know what, they generally tend to trend sideways. You could buy them at certain price points, like this $11 price point down here, and you would actually be up on your investment right now. But just keeping that in mind for if you do see Guggenheim go below that price and you are interested in purchasing that stock. Now we got HYGW, which is the iShares Trust. We actually have a couple iShares Trust in here. And iShares, for what they do, the iShares High Yield Corporate Bond BuyWrite Strategy ETF, that is a mouthful, to track the investment results of an index that reflects a strategy of holding the iShares box High Yield Corporate Bond ETF. As you can see, it's very confusing, but why in their kind of like company website here, they say why HYGW. It says for potentially for enhanced income, I can't even speak, diversification and easy access. So when you are investing in some of the iShares High Yield Corporate Bond BuyWrite Strategy ETFs, you are potentially kind of going with an index and receiving monthly income on that index through buying their stocks like HYGW. And there's also another one, which is, it is not SPY, but it is TLTW. This is another iShares Trust, so they pretty much do the same thing. So if you're looking for something with a high yield, I think TLTW, let's see what the yield is on this one. It should be close to about 20%. It says 13% here, but I'm pretty sure it should be a bit closer to 20% there. Now, going to another stock. Oh, we also have NVDY here. This one pays about a 50% dividend, so that's pretty good. We have KLIP. KLIP is one that I cover quite a bit. It is a CraneShares China Internet and Covered Call Strategy ETF. So KLIP is actually not trading at $17.61. It is trading at roughly $18. It had a 2% gain today. it's just, this is not, the dividend tracker is not updated yet today. And KLIP, this is a stock that I do own. Just kind of a, you know, a little note, I do own KLIP, and I have been riding this stock price appreciation downwards. And you know what? Overall, on my position in KLIP, I am actually down about 8% or so, but I have been receiving this 56% dividend. So every single month, I receive probably about 4% back in dividends, and it has been helping to supplement that capital appreciation loss. And I do think I actually am up on KLIP lifetime overall. So that is a stock that I'll continue to hold for the most part. Then we have Maxi. Maxi, I'm not sure if I pulled it up here. I did. It is the Simply Bitcoin Strategy Plus Income ETF. And if you're with me so far, I want to say thank you for sticking with me. This is definitely a long video. It says here a total return of about 58%. Let's see what Maxi's dividend yield. It should be about, 11-12%, which off the bat, you're like, whoa, that's not really that much. But the thing is, this is a stock that is actually appreciated over time. And what this ETF does is it tracks Bitcoin. So what it does is I'm pretty sure it writes cover calls on Bitcoin in some kind of way. I'm not sure how they would do that because Bitcoin's not a stock, but they track the price point of Bitcoin and do pay a decent dividend of about 15%, give or take 2 or 3%. So yeah, so they are about 11-12% dividend. Just to keep in mind if you're looking for something that kind of tracks Bitcoin and might pique your attention. So we have another one, which is MLPR, and we got a lot of stocks in this video. This is the eTrax quarterly paying 1.5 times leveraged Alerian MLP index ETN. So this is an ETN. ETNs and ETFs are definitely not the same. ETMs have an underlying kind of like potentially like a bank that they fall underneath. And so the one risk with ETNs is if you are investing in them, you're relying not only on the actual index, which would be the Alerian MLP index, but you're also investing kind of into the bank and making sure the bank does not fail, because if the bank fails, your ETN will fail as well. So lifetime for the stock, it's actually appreciated pretty nicely, as you could see here, starting at about $30 and appreciating all the way up to about $50 or so, and it does pay a 10% dividend at the same time. So MLPR might be one you want to add to your watch list. Now going to the next stock, we're going to say that a lot in this video. We do have ORC. ORC is Orchard Island Capitals Inc. Just taking a quick sip of water. What I would say about this stock is I'm not a huge fan. They did have a stock split, but over the lifetime of the stock, I generally have seen it trending downwards. It is a 20% paying dividend stock, but one thing I did notice is as the stock trended downwards for Orchid Island Capital, they did drop their dividend paid amount. So although the dividend yield has looked like it stayed the same, it's really been depreciating as a stock, and then they've been dropping the dividend amounts. That is kind of my opinion on Orchid Island Capital. Like, I wanted to invest in them, but I didn't, just due to that fact. But obviously, if you're invested in it and you have, your actual returns, please comment down below what they are, because I'd be interested to see if it was actually worth it to purchase that stock. So now we got PDI. PDI is a Pimlico Dynamic Income Fund. Now, this is a fund that actually a subscriber had mentioned to me in the comments not too long ago. And it's hard to kind of find where that is, just because I do get a lot of comments, as you guys can tell, that I'm also trying to respond to. But yeah, so I'm not sure where that comment was at, but what is this? We got here PDI, that's it. PDI, it looks like over the lifetime of the stock, it's kind of depreciated for the most part, but pays a 15% dividend, so it's not entirely bad. Now, what I'm going to do for the next couple stocks, just due to the fact that this video is getting a bit long, I'm just going to kind of go over them right here and show you very briefly. So we have XYLD with a dividend yield of roughly about 10% or so. This is I'm pretty sure it's a cover call strategy ETF, something like that. But XYLD has been around for a few years. I know it generally depreciates downwards, but it pays a 10% dividend at the same time. So just kind of bring it to your attention. USOY is a company that I actually own. It says it pays an 11% dividend. I don't think that's entirely true. I think it's more like 20%, and trades at an $84 price point. SVOL is actually a company that I was looking to own. I'm either going to be buying SVOL or maybe PBR-A or something like that. I'm kind of leaning toward SVOL because it does have decent appreciation over the last little while, and it also pays a 15% dividend. So that is one that I'm definitely looking forward to. And one of the last few stocks that we're going to look at, there's also SJT, which is San Juan Basin Royalty Trust. It says it pays a 7% dividend, or sorry, a 9% dividend. But for a $7 stock, it's paid some pretty big dividends in the past. And although they're not paying some big dividends like PBR-A at the current moment, they can definitely appreciate to what they once were, just like USOI is currently doing. And I do think that is one to also watch and put in your watch list, SJT. Now, I'm going to say the last and the least, there is SMHB, which is an E-Trax 2 times monthly paying ETF. This stock pays a 17% dividend, which is also good. But then going back, we also made a video on this in the past. It is SPY. SPY is the NEOS S&P 500 high income ETF. It pays a 12-13% dividend, as my alarms are definitely going off in this video. Holy smokes, you're sticking with me though. You can see that they are at $47.33 over the lifetime. They are a relatively new fund, as you can see, being in August 2022 was their IPO. And they've kind of stayed flat, but you've been receiving this 12% dividend at the same time. So with all that being said, I know this was a very long video. There was a lot to talk about. We had 23 different high yielding stocks. If there's any stocks in this portfolio that you're like, yo, hey, Honorable Investing, can you make an in-depth video about maybe HYGW or about Maxi? Because I'm interested in looking at the simplified Bitcoin strategy plus income ETF. I'll be like, sure, yo, just let me know in the comments. I'll get back to you and I'll make a video about it. So, and I'll give you kind of my thoughts about the current price point, dividend, and the overall business, just to hear another opinion about it. So that does sound good. I hope you guys added some of these stocks to your watch list if you're interested in high dividend yielding, potentially monthly yielding as well, ETFs or stocks. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. We're up to 2,675 subscribers, getting 1 subscriber over the course of this video. So please subscribe if you haven't yet done so. I hope you guys take care, and I will see you guys in the next video.